Guys, so we have an urgent information coming out. Do me a favor and share this video. Once again, thank you so much for your support. There is an unexpected development in the bear and crane conflict. Now, Ukrainian defense has collapsed at the city of Pokrovsk, and Crane military is now sending urgent messages to the townspeople telling them they have less than 2 days to pack up and evacuate. The same is happening in other regions, multiple regions. Now I'm gonna skip the names there, guys. So it appears that the bear country will take all 4 settlements more or less at the same time, basically merging 4 operational crisis sectors into a strategic disaster for Kiev. And at the same time, this Friday will be a very important meeting. You have Donald and Putin. Now, Donald says something here that kind of shocked a lot of people. In a shocking moment, Donald forgets that he's going to Alaska to meet Vladimir this week. Now, he did said that I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. All right. So again, that's what Donald said, and it's probably a mistake. It happens. Joe says stuff like that many times. But yeah, Alaska is part of the U.S. It used to belong to Russia, but again, U.S. purchased it back in the 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to see what's going on with all this news here, guys. Before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also the description box. Thank you again for your support. So we're going to get to that first article I showed you, but let me just bring some of this stuff up really quick. So here's another breaking news that's coming out. The Bear Country Armed Forces had launched a major offensive action against the front line in the Donetsk Oblast of Eastern Ukraine as we approach Friday's potential peace talks in Alaska between U.S. President Donald and the Bear President Putin. Some of the heaviest fighting of the war so far is reported to be taking place along the Kramatorsk axis, with elements of the Bear Ground Forces having achieved a significant breakthrough near the Profilia, stretching roughly 10 miles behind Ukrainian defense lines. Reinforcements are being directed from other areas of the front, as both the Ukrainian and the Bear Air Forces carry out extensive airstrikes against position on and around the T-0515 highway. All right, so once again, we've seen some stuff going down today. And, yeah, it seems like the Bear want to take as much territory as possible. All right, I want to bring this one up really quick here. You have the famous Russian media figure and Kremlin ally says on state television, the Bear Country is preparing for a new special operation. Ukraine will not be the last. Events in the South Caucasus pose a serious warning to us. All right. We're going to see how all this plays out, guys. And Zelensky said Putin is definitely not preparing for a cease plan this Friday. The Bear are moving troops. They are moving troops to start new offensive. There was an intelligence report. So Zelensky is saying, he's saying the same thing what this person is saying. The Bear is preparing. Zelensky said the Bear is preparing. All right, so preparing for a new operation. So we're going to see how all this plays out, guys. We're going to see how all this plays out. Let me go back to this news here. Once again, please share the video. So Ukraine military is now sending urgent messages to the township, to the townspeople, telling them they have less than 2 days to pack up and evacuate. Now, it appears that the bear will take all 4 settlements more or less at the same time, basically merging 4 operational crisis sectors into a strategic disaster for Kiev. The bear country has made a major breakthrough in the Ukrainian defense of the Proskurov axis. Now, Ukraine simply does not have enough people to hold the lines anymore. But hold on. Didn't Kiev just put out this the numbers, the what do you call it, statistics? 1 million of the bear soldiers taken out. I mean, what's going on here? It seems like those numbers are baloney. It says here the bear find a weak spot and can just thrive ahead. In the Dobrophilia area, the bear troops have broken through the front to a depth of more than 11 kilometers, finding weak spots in Ukrainian armed forces' defense. Such huge advances previously were unheard of. Now, the bear forces have entered other regions, I'm going to skip those names, where they are accumulating forces to develop the success, and are also consolidating the village of Vignola. At the same time, the Bear Federation is advancing towards the Dobrophilia and Kramatorsk Highway. Now, I truly apologize about these names here. It says here consolidating in the areas. I'm going to skip those names there, guys. I truly apologize. I'm not going to try to pronounce these Russians' names. So, some Ukrainian military public pages write that the highway is already cut off and the situation is critical. Ukrainian channels freak out. Dobrophilia may fall faster than Pavlovsky. So this is one of the big breaking news that's coming out right now. It goes to tell you that there's a possibility this war is not going to end. Now let's see what's going on with this one here. Alright, so I want to share this information with you guys. So Donald said this: I'm going to Russia on Friday. Donald appears to forget Alaska is a sleeping giant as he frets over facing Putin amid DC crime. So let's see what's going on here. So Donald appeared to mix up the bear with Alaska ahead of his meeting with the bear leader Vladimir during a White House press conference about lawlessness in DC and his plans to deploy the National Guard and put the city police under his control. It's shocking that all this is happening at the same time. We're about to see something between Putin and Donald. It's like he's getting DC ready for biblical war. Donald delivered the news from the podium in the press briefing room, joined by Attorney General Pam and Defense Minister Pete. A newly confirmed DC U.S. Attorney, again, there you go, Janine, she's like the new one, where he decried the level of lawlessness in DC. This is a tragic emergency, and it's embarrassing for me to be up here, Donald told reporters. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. And Donald kind of messed up on that one there. I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital is. Now, Donald is not going to Russia. Okay? All right, so it was a mistake. It happens. Again, remember when Zelensky was here and Joe is like, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Putin. And Zelensky is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So, I mean, it happens. We're not perfect. You know, it goes to tell you that you got a lot of things going on, and being the president, I mean, it's a lot of work. You got so many stuff happening. Donald is not going to Russia, but rather to Alaska to meet with Putin. He is set to meet with Vladimir to discuss bringing an end to the biblical war in Ukraine that the bear initiated when it invaded the Soviet nation in Friday 2022. The highly anticipated meeting between myself as president of the US and Vladimir of Russia will take place next Friday, which is actually this Friday, August the 15th, in the great state of Alaska. Donald posted last week on Truth Social. Now it says here, the meeting will be the first between a U.S. president and Putin since 2021, when Joe met with Vladimir in Switzerland. It's also the same time Vladimir has been to the U.S. soil in a decade. This comes despite the fact that Vladimir is the subject of the cuffed warrant issued by the ICC. All right, so here's the thing, guys. If this happens, if Vladimir goes to Alaska, Donald could cuff against, basically Donald could send the law enforcement to cuff him, or the military. There you go, get him, cuff him. Here's the problem. If that happens, prepare for nuclear. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. The bear will launch nuclear all over the place. That will not be good. Not very smart. So it says here, last week, Alaska senior Republican Senate Lisa expressed her concern, but also cautioned optimism about the meeting taking place in Alaska. So she was also given the, hey, if he step foot in your region, send in the military. So will Vladimir get cuffed? That's the big question. Will Vladimir get cuffed once he lands in Alaska? Donald announced he will meet with Vladimir in Alaska next Friday to continue negotiations to end the bear catastrophic war in Ukraine. Now, this is another opportunity for the Arctic to serve as a venue that brings together world leaders to forge meaningful agreements. While I remain deeply wary of Vladimir and his regime, I hope these discussions lead to genuine progress and help end the biblical war on equitable terms. Critics of the announcement flagged that the fact that the bear once claimed Alaska as the beginning of the 1770s, oh, so it's not in the 1800s, it was the 1700s, and had native Alaskans hunt fur for the bear before the U.S. purchased Alaska from the bear in 1867. Once again, the bear, for their part, held the decision to have the summit in Alaska. But again, the big question is, will Vladimir get cuffed? Born as Russian-American Orthodox roots, fur trade, Alaska echoes those ties and makes the U.S. an Arctic nation, the bear's special economic envoy, Carol, said in a statement X, formerly Twitter. It says here, meanwhile, I'm going to skip that person's name, a billionaire sanctioned by the Barack for funding the bear's separatists, said Alaskans, respectively, remember their bear past and their Orthodox present. Now, Donald said he wanted to see a meeting take place between Vladimir and Ukrainian leader, but he also expressed his frustration with Zelensky. I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelensky was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. constitutional approval. I know Donald was not pleased with that one. It says here he got approval to go into the biblical war and take out everybody, but he needs approval to do a land swap because there'll be some land swapping going on. Man, Donald was not pleased. I know that through the bear and through conversation with everybody for the good of Crane. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Also some bad stuff for both. Now, Donald said the negotiation will be very complex, and the word that they will use is, they make changes, he said. We're going to change the lines, the battle lines they need, but I want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders. Donald has found the biblical war in Ukraine to be one of his most vexing problems. In the past, he said he could end it within 24 hours, but despite his antagonistic attitude towards Zelensky and Crane, he has at times been frustrated with Putin and has continued to deliver arms to Crane. So the 24 hours didn't work. And so we are still in this biblical war between Crane and the bear. All right, give me a second here, guys. I want to see if there's any more updates when it comes to nation against nation. So far, this is all of it. This is all the information here. And this is the one we just talked about. Kiev Independence putting out this information. The bear forces pierce Ukrainian defense near Dobrofilia in Donetsk Oblast. Monitoring group says Donald says Zelensky won't attend Alaska summit with Putin, but Crane and the bear talks should follow, and more. All right, guys, so this is where we at right now. Now, Donald is not going to Russia. He's going to Alaska. He made that mistake. Also, the bear is taking some territories, and this biblical war is still going on. But I just don't see it ending. I just don't. Let's see how everything works out this Friday. It's going to be big. And the big question is, will Vladimir be arrested once he lands in Alaska? And if that happens, well, again, there's going to be some DEFCON 1 worldwide. Thank you so much for watching. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.